Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today I'm going to dive right into it. I have for you my top fragrance of fall of 2011. If you haven't seen my video, go ahead and check it out. But it's none other than Guerlain's Spiritueuse de Vanille. I got help trying to pronounce that one just because I'm pretty sure I wasn't pronouncing it right. I think I got it right, but I still think I got the Spiritueuse part a little bit off. But either way, here's the bottle. Comes in a very nice, elegant looking bottle. It has the Spiritueuse de Vanille right there, and it also has the little wax seal that goes on there. So it's a very nice bottle. This bottle is actually going to be, the design is actually going to change to, if some of you are familiar with Tonka Imperial, it's going to change to that type of design rather than this type. So if you plan on purchasing it and want this bottle as opposed to the Tonka Imperial, probably want to purchase this sooner rather than later. Anyways, it has the information on the bottom. It comes with this little thing right here, which is a cap for it, but it's not a cap in the sense that it goes on here. It's actually a screw-on cap that goes in replace of the atomizer. When you come with it, it actually comes with this, and it gives you the atomizer as an option. I chose to take this one off, use the atomizer instead. Instead, I kind of store this one up top here. Either way, very nice bottle. It comes in only one size, and that's 75 milliliters. The 75 milliliters is going to run you about $225 to $275. Once you add taxes and shipping into the mix, think about paying $250 to $300 for this fragrance. So it's a very expensive fragrance, not one that I would easily recommend blind buying just because of the sheer cost of it. I mean, hey, if you have the money, sure, go ahead, but yeah, it's definitely on the expensive side. Anyways, this was released back in 2007, and I believe the maker of this is the head of Guerlain, Jean-Paul Guerlain. I could be wrong with that name. Either way, I'm sticking with that right now. Now, the top notes that this actually consists of are pink pepper and bergamot. The mid notes that you're going to get from this are spices, ylang, I believe is how you pronounce it, cedar, and Bulgarian rose. Now for the base notes, you're going to get amber, benzoin, vanilla, and incense. So all that combined together, by the way, masterfully combined together, all that mixed together, you're going to get something right off the bat that's going to get a vanilla, boozy, creamy type scent. Actually, scratch that. More of a fruity, vanilla, creamy type scent that's going to come out of it. With booze definitely hinted in there. When I say booze, I'm talking about something easily that smells like rum, just mixed in with it. So overall, vanilla rum is what you're going to get initially after the spray, especially while it's still wet. Give it about 10 minutes, 15 minutes as it dries down. You're going to start to get a little bit more of the cedar that's going to come up from the background of it. You're going to get a little bit more of something that smells like a smokiness, like a smokiness that kind of comes up in it, and I believe that's the incense kind of coming out with it as well. Now, again, masterfully mixed together. As this continues to dry down, you're going to get a little bit more of something that smells more smoky than it does anything else. With the vanilla, it's actually, if you smell benzoin, which does smell like vanilla, like a sweeter type vanilla, you're going to kind of sense that in it. So the incense is actually going to come out in it as well. And after it dries down, all that, you're going to get something, you're left with vanilla, booze that sits on top of a smoky cedar type base that really has incense coming out of it as well. So vanilla, incense, smoky, booze, and a little bit of cedar on it. That's primarily what I get from this fragrance. So it's a very sweet fragrance that kind of sits excellent on the skin. Very great scent. Now, in terms of compliments, stuff like that, compliments on this one are, for me, at least on the higher end. Now, not unsolicited compliments. I've actually asked people what they think this actually smells like when they pass me, because I do get a couple of remarks where, ooh, something smells good after they pass me. Go ahead and tell them what it is, and in some cases I've actually gone out and said, hey, what do you think of this scent? And they've responded with it. in any case, the scenario that I can see this with, you can expect to use this for something casual. You can use this for work, although it's not ideally situated for it. I have used it for it. Primarily, this is going to be a date scent, a casual scent, or a special occasion scent. Despite those scenarios, it's not really that versatile. That's actually one of my bigger strikes with this. And once you smell it, you'll kind of get what I mean. It's a sweet scent, but it doesn't monsterly project. So for that reason, I would say it's not good for the club unless, that's kind of what you're going for from the scent. On that same token, for work, it may be a little bit too sweet for work. However, the good thing about it is that it does sit closer to the skin, so you're not going to jump out and annoy anyone for it. It is not an annoying type scent. You may not like the scent, but it doesn't really, give you off that sickening type scent that some may get from a lot of the sweeter type fragrances. Now, in terms of projection on this, think of this in the average projection range. It's not an excellent fragrance that projects like a monster, but it doesn't remain as a skin scent. It's not a primarily skin scent. It gives you about, I would say, 2 feet or so of room to work with in terms of people. As they pass by you, they'll definitely smell you. You may even leave a scent trail, but it's not going to jump out and really grab anyone. So it's a more subdued, laid-back fragrance. Now, in terms of projection, in terms of longevity, on the other hand, longevity lasts easily, think about 12 plus hours on this. On my skin at least, it lasts about 16 hours. 16 hours of time, which is a long time, which is still actually projecting on your skin and hasn't become a skin scent at that point. Now, I suspect it's because of the incense note on this. Incense in general tends to last a long time on my skin, so things like Creed's Royal Oud last a long time on my skin. Anything with incense in general that has that type of base tends to do well on my skin, and for that reason, this actually lasts a long time on my skin. Some people have said that it lasts only anywhere between 6 and 8 hours on them, but it has lasted that long on mine. Now, another thing to beware on this fragrance of is, even though it will last that long, this is one of those fragrances that your nose will get used to. So you may not think that it's doing particularly well, but other people will still smell you on that point. And I have had people after 10 plus, 12 plus hours easily comment that, hey, what does that smell? And they're actually smelling me. They come closer, take a closer whiff, and it is me on it. So at that point, I didn't actually smell it that well on me. So beware of this fragrance. This does last a longer time. In terms of where I apply it, I go one on each shoulder pit, usually one to the back of the neck, sometimes even 2 of the wrists. So usually I give it a good 5 sprays or so for it. And when I say shoulder pit, some people have asked me, what is the shoulder pit? That's this area right here. So it's kind of like a pit in between or on top of your shoulder. So that's that area. But either way, in terms of when, again, this is my fall fragrance. This is my top fall fragrance, number 1 on my fall list. I consider this a fall fragrance that can be used as well in the winter pretty well, with the fact and knowing that it's not going to project like a monster. For that reason, even though it can be used in the winter, I tend not to, just because I like my winter fragrances to really project and really come out there. I use the winter as the time to really get it. But either way, it can be used that. I still say that this is the best and most ideal fragrance for fall. Now, in terms of who can wear this, anyone can really wear this fragrance. Whether even high schoolers can wear this fragrance. The only limiting factor on this thing is the cost. Expensive, so a high schooler may not have the means or ability to get this fragrance. If cost was not a factor, I would easily say that this would be a much more wildly popular fragrance than it is now. But let's face it, $300, $250, that's a steep price to pay for 75 milliliters for a fragrance. At least for me it is. For some people it may not be, but That's how it is in my world. Now, I would highly suggest trying this out. You may not like this one if you're not a fan of vanilla based fragrances, or if incense doesn't really catch you. Even though the incense note is not that strong, it still has incense in the background, so this fragrance may annoy you if you're not a fan of that incense. So if you don't like vanilla, if you don't like incense, you probably want to stay away from this one. But if you are a fan of vanilla incense, I would definitely suggest checking this one out. It can be compared to a lighter version of Tom Ford's Private Blend Tobacco Vanille, but it is its own fragrance. It's its own nice fragrance in its own way. So, excellent fragrance. My rating is actually a 10 out of 10, perfect 10 out of 10, despite the fact of some of its flaws. The fact of the matter is, I find this fragrance excellent suited, more of a sweet, close fragrance to your skin that will do extremely well. So if you have any questions whatsoever on this particular review or this particular fragrance, where to get it, feel free, leave a comment, send me a PM, like you guys always do what you gotta do. Thank you, and this has been Guerlain, Spiritueuse de Vanille. Take care, everyone.